Hello, good people of the YouTubes. It's me, Neil, from Tracklocross, back once again to ruin your lovingly curated YouTube algorithm. All hail the algorithm. Today I thought we'd look at something that is close to the hearts of every Tracklocross rider, and that's your tyres. Specifically, I'm going to look at how tyres grip, which should ironically be a rather gripping subject. Living in Scotland, tyres, grip and mud is something that I think of quite a lot. There are two main ways that tyres grip in the mud, and that is mechanical interlocking and adhesion. Mechanical interlocking occurs when the tread of the tyre physically engages with the terrain. The more pronounced your tread pattern, the more textured the surface, the more opportunity there is for interlocking. In muddy conditions, this is often the dominant mechanism, especially when mud is too slippery for adhesive forces to be effective. Adhesion refers to the molecular attraction between the rubber compound of the tyre and the surface it contacts. This is more prominent on dry or tacky terrain. Don't have much experience of that living in Scotland, but becomes less effective when mud acts as a lubricating layer between the tyre and the ground. So your grip then in mud relies primarily on the tyre's ability to penetrate the mud layer and reach more solid substrate, or to maintain traction within the viscous layer itself through effective tread design and optimal tyre pressure. So what does this mean? Well, the problem is not all mud is created equal. Understanding the diverse characteristics of mud can help explain why certain tyres perform better in specific conditions. Told you this was going to be gripping. Mud is basically a combination of water, soil, organic matter and sometimes clay. The exact composition influences how slippery, sticky or loose it feels under a tyre. Which, to give you grip, there's 4 key properties we need to look at here, which is viscosity. Thick, viscous mud can clog treads and increase rolling resistance, while thin, watery mud reduces friction. Adhesiveness. Some mud sticks to the tyre, adding weight and altering tread functionality. Depth. Deeper mud requires tyres with larger knobs for effective penetration and grip. And your underlying terrain. Mud over hardpack behaves differently than mud over loose gravel or sand. Sadly, nobody has yet come up with a tyre that will let you ride through all these different combinations. So quite often you're always just going to be using a compromise of your tyres. And once you realise that, life becomes easier and you should just grab a Schwalbe CX Pro if you can still find them. They are quite simply the best tyres for Tracklocross. So we looked at mud. Now there's a few things on your tyres that can change how grip works and the characteristics. So the first one is the tread pattern. So easiest way if you're looking for mud is just to pick a tyre that says it's good for mud. Probably don't pick a file type tread unless you're on sand or ice. Tread lugs. So mud tyres will have really large, widely spaced knobs or lugs. These dig into the soft surface, giving you what is effectively mechanical grip. The spacing is a bit key here. Tight tread, so like the lugs really closely together, will pack quickly in mud, which then kind of makes your tyres feel like they're bald and you'll just slip and slide everywhere. Widely spaced knobs will let the mud clear, and you'll know that because the mud's flying up and hitting you in the face as you pick up the speed a bit. Then you can have a directional pattern. So most mud tyres are a directional tread. So you'll see chevron shaped lugs that help shed mud and improve the traction when accelerating or braking. So going to properly dig in when you're going for that skid stop to save you from hitting a tree. Side lugs are more aggressive and they aid in cornering, providing a bit of lateral grip when the tyre is sliding slightly. And then you might find some tyres that have centre ridges. This is a subtle centre ridge or intermediate knob, so a bit smaller but not quite a file tread. They strike the balance between straight line speed and mud shredding. This is pretty common in cyclocross tyres, so that you can have pretty good speed for when you're racing on varied surfaces. and nicely we can pinch that for Tracklocross, which as we all know is the original form of cyclocross and the much better form of cyclocross to be involved in. One of the good things about Tracklocross is a narrow tyre actually really helps you with mud. So your narrow tyre can cut through mud, a bit like a knife if you imagine it. It's just going to slice through that mud. You've got a wee bit of a reduction in surface area, so less surface contact means less drag in deep mud, and you're going to hopefully have a bit more clearance. Although riding a track frame, that's going to be marginal. But you know, things like the Squid So Easy are going to offer acres of room. Get a steamroller if you still can, have loads and loads of room. If we're thinking about the adhesive qualities of a tyre rather than just how it cuts into mechanical grip, we're then going to look at the rubber compound of tyres. So rubber compound affects how the tyre deforms over the terrain and how well it grips under load. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So considerations for mud is a soft compound will provide better grip but wear way faster, so probably not good for skidding. Temperature sensitivity. Cold weather can affect a rubber's hardness. A tyre that's soft in summer might become too stiff in winter. You've probably felt that the tyre feels a bit more plasticky. You also get that as tyres age. Durability. Tyres used in wet and abrasive mud conditions must balance softness with resistance to tearing. Pretty handy if you're wanting to go skids. You probably want those tyres that are going to be able to balance softness and resistance to tearing. What you'll now find is that some brands do offer a tyre with a rubber compound which is designed for cold and wet conditions, which I always find works really well for riding Tracklocross. Obviously you can mess about with your tyre pressure as well to give you grip. Lower pressure will give you a bit more flotation in deep mud and enhances grip, works better again with maybe wider tyres rather than narrower. Too low and you can find that you're going to get pinch flats or risk ripping the sidewall off when you're skidding through between a couple of gaps in the trees. And what works for your friends might not work for you pressure wise, because you're probably going to be a different weight, you're going to have a different tyre volume. Are you going to have a different rim width? Do you ride differently? So yeah, tyre pressure is really down to you and you've got to experiment a little bit. Then I'd probably say the next bit to think about is the mud. So have you got wet and slippery mud? So that's a sort of watery, shallow surface level thickness. So aggressive side knobs and a directional tread pattern are going to really help you there. Slightly lower pressure as well is going to work there. Then if you're in the south of England or that, you'll find it's quite a sticky clay soil. You find that also up here in Scotland in places. So this really clings to your frame, it clings to your tyres and it clogs tyres up really quickly. So what you need to prioritise here is those tyres with the lugs far apart to get as much of that mud off as quickly as possible. A moderate pressure here definitely helps. Too low and you're definitely going to end up with clogged tyres. Thick and claggy mud, which is a sort of sad mud that takes all your energy and makes you wonder why you bothered coming out that day. So again, you're going to want large tall knobs here to really bite in, strong sidewalls just to give a wee bit of protection. And I guess if it's lighter, that's always going to help. Again, lower pressure again on these tyres just to help find your way through. If you've got sandy or silty mud, so again riding near rivers, floodplains, that kind of thing, you're going to want to slightly lower your pressure and you're going to have to be aware that the mud can move. So often you're going to want maybe a sort of mid-volume tyre with a lower profile tread just to bite into that mud that's moving. I hope that really did grip you, and I hope I didn't speed through it too fast with my wonderful Scottish accent making it hard to read. I have below included a link where you can go and read all this and maybe make it easier to understand rather than me going through this for a YouTube video where I'm trying to condense it a bit. But yeah, link below to go and read more if you want to know more. If you enjoyed this type of thing, leave me a comment, tell me that you want more sort of information on these sort of things, how-to guides. And as always, like and subscribe if you want to, but also remember, I'm not your mum, so do whatever you want to do, and most importantly, go out today and create a little bit of good in the world and enjoy yourself. Have a good one, guys. See you later.